Shalom, Mashpacha. Shalom, his boy Kalak Rakha. I wanted to do a little thing on one thing I noticed basically, like when we in the streets teaching, it seemed like we spend most of our time defending Paul when it comes to any scoffer, any Christian person or whatever. They live by Paul. They love Paul. And we are out there defending Paul because they telling us that Paul is really, they try to make it seem like Paul is a blasphemer. Like Paul is speaking lies, and we out there having to defend him by telling him like, nah, Paul is actually saying the same thing everybody else was saying. So what I'm actually gonna do now, I plan on, Most High willing, everything goes smoothly and Most High keeps his spirit on me. I plan on going through all Paul's epistles, breaking them down chapter by chapter. You know what I mean? Well, giving understanding of chapter by chapter. That's my plan right now. And I'm gonna start with Romans. I know Romans, a lot of people get caught up with. Off the simple fact of the name alone, they feel that he actually was going to, Roman, Italian white people, that's not the case at all. And I'm gonna prove that in these scriptures. Once you just read it, you see. One thing you gotta do is you gotta take all the scriptures whole. You can't just separate nothing. They all are combined and together. Now, but first, let's go to 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 15. 3 verse 15. Because the reason I'm going here first, because Peter wrote this. Peter was the rock, the foundation. You feel what I'm saying? Like Peter was Yahushua's right hand man. Peter knew Yahushua. If anybody know Yahushua, it'd be Peter. You know, the 12 that walked with him. You feel what I'm saying? And Peter also knew Paul. They had their little issues at times, you feel what I'm saying? But Peter knew Paul. But so I wanted to get into this real quick. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 15, and it says, "And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you." So Peter is actually going to talk about Paul's epistles. You feel what I'm saying? He's saying that wisdom that was given to him. I'm going to read on verse 16. It says, "As also in all his epistles are letters, right? As in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood." Now, Paul spoke fluent Hebrew and fluent Greek. Paul was teaching Hebrews. He was teaching Greeks. You feel what I'm saying? So even in his epistles, and he spoke it fluently, people was not understanding what he was saying to them. So with that being said, now we got this translation from a whole nother language into English, to these other languages. If they couldn't understand them then, they definitely not going to understand them now. Especially after how over time words have changed, took on new meanings. You got to go dig deep and get the root in order to understand exactly sometimes what exactly are they saying. But without that, Most High willing, I'm going to try to bring as much understanding as possible to you. I'm going to read that again, verse 16. It says, "As also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable," and I'm going to straight out say that's the Christian church. They are unlearned in these scriptures. They are unstable in these scriptures. The scriptures tell you, if you want to know this book, you got to go to the people of the book, the Israelites. I'm going to get that too for you. That's Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. But it says that also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrest, as they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. So if you feel Paul is telling you go ahead and eat a pork chop, you're doing that to your own destruction. You will die. According to Isaiah 66, the Most High is not a liar, boy. He is not a liar. It don't make sense that you want to go to Paul and say, yo, the laws is done away with, so on and so forth, when the whole book speaks against that. The whole book says, yo, keep the laws, but then run to Paul. Paul said, nah, you can do whatever you want. Where? Where did Paul say that? Peter right here is telling you that people don't understand Paul. They didn't understand Paul then. So imagine now. Imagine now. Let's get Acts. Acts chapter 26. I'm going to read verse 22. It says, this is Paul speaking. He was actually going on trial. And he was saying, having therefore obtained the help of the Most High, I continue unto this day, witnessing both to small and great, saying none other things, nothing else. He didn't say nothing different. Read on. Than those which the prophets and Moses did say should come. There's nowhere in the scriptures where it tell you the law is going to be done away with. There's nowhere in the scriptures that it says the Gentiles is going to be equal to Israel and they get grafted in and so on and so forth. There's nowhere in the scriptures that say that. Nowhere in the law, nowhere in the prophets. Moses ain't said, none of the prophets said, so where y'all getting that from? Obviously, you're misunderstanding what Paul is saying. He didn't say nothing different than what they said should come. That was his whole ministry. So if you see anything, if you've seen anything different, obviously you're not understanding him. Acts 24, verse 14. This is Paul again, of course. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the Most High of my father, power of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, believing all things. The law and the prophets tell you that Israel is going to rule with a rod of iron, that the other nations are going to have to serve him, that people that's eating swine will not make it into the kingdom. People that's not keeping the Sabbath, it's not going to make it into the kingdom. Pardon me for that. Getting over a little something. But yeah, so I showing you right there that people is not understanding what Paul is saying. It's impossible. So we gonna, with that, whenever you read anything of Paul's, you got to keep that in mind. Paul saying himself, he didn't teach nothing different. He didn't teach nothing different. Peter telling you, yo, people don't understand Paul. So with that being said, whole reason he was on trial was because people was thinking the same thing that these churches is thinking today. And they actually read Greek and Hebrew. So imagine now. Pardon me. So with that being said, we're going to go on Romans. This is going to be the Romans series. It's going to be the Romans series of defending Paul. And I'm going to start, like I said, I'm going to go through the whole book. So I'm going to start with Romans 1. Romans chapter 1. I'll probably read chapter 1 and chapter 2 today. And do 3 and 4 next day, and so on and so forth. Now, let's see how it works out. But I'm gonna start here, and it's saying, Romans chapter 1 verse 1. Paul, a servant in the Mashiach Yahushua, called to me an apostle, separated unto the gospel of the Most High. The gospel of the Most High, Isaiah 61. All of Isaiah, the whole scriptures. The gospel is the good news that Israel will get the kingdom, that we will be saved. That's the gospel. So, going on. Verse 2, which he had promised afore meaning before, which he had promised afore by his prophets in the Holy Scriptures. So he's showing you right now that everything he's about to teach came from the prophets. There's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm going to read on. Concerning his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. And that's powerful right there. And a lot of people will miss over that. But that right there just cuts the hell out of that virgin birth doctrine. It's saying he was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. Now, that means he came from his loins. That's the only way that could be. He came from his loins. The seed of David, that's his sperm. You know what I'm saying? When it comes, and it's saying according to the flesh, there's no possible way they could say he came from the seed of David if his mom was Mary and that's it, no father. There's no possible way. That's against scripture. In Numbers chapter 1 verse 18. And it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So you gotta come, if you want to be from the line of David, you gotta come from that male lineage, that sperm, the seed, that semen. That's the only possible way. You look at the men, as a fruit, right? Like say for instance, you got the apples, you got the oranges. These are different families of fruit, but they fruit. Let's say they are men. Or even, let's say the apple, let's say the tree, because the scriptures call them trees. You got an apple tree, you got an orange tree, you got a cashew tree, so on and so forth, all different things, right? Avocado tree. But when it comes down to it, the seed, you take an apple seed, take the same apple, cut it open, take all the seeds. You plant one apple in New York, one in North Carolina, one seed in North Carolina, one seed in New York, one seed in Georgia, one seed in Florida, one seed in Japan. It's not going to be a Japan tree. It's not going to be a New York tree, a Georgia tree. Nah, you're going to have an apple tree, regardless of where you planted it. The woman is like an incubator. She nourishes it. She gives it. That's why you want to get, like, for instance, with those apples, they might look a little different because of the soil. They might taste a little different. One might be sweeter. You feel what I'm saying? One might be more bitter. One might be more shiny. They still apple trees, no matter how you put it. And that's how the male lineage is. So I'm going to go on. And it says, verse 4, and declared to be the Son of the Most High with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, by the resurrection from the dead, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations for his name. Now people hear this, oh, it says all nations. It says all nations. Now knowing the Most High said he was going to scatter us amongst all nations. He told us this. Give me, let's get Deuteronomy real quick. I'm going to go back to the curses real quick. Pardon me. And the Most High, Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor their fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Most High shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. The Most High promised us. Salaki for that. Salakia. I know that was nasty. But yeah, the Most High told us that this was going to happen to us because we didn't want to follow his commandments. You feel what I'm saying? That we was going to be scattered amongst all nations. Get Acts 2, verse 5. And it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews. Now, here's the funny thing, because a lot of people don't realize. Jews is only referring to 3 tribes out of Israel. There's still 9 more tribes. You could say 10. There's really 9 more tribes. Ephraim and Manasseh is Joseph. That's point blank, period. There's still 9 tribes that's it's not referring to. They're scattered. Now, this is only talking about the southern kingdom right here. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? It's saying, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem. This is during the Feast of Pentecost or First Fruits. Jews. And they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Under every nation under heaven. We were scattered. We've been scattered. We were scattered a long time ago. During the time of Ezra, our people were scattered. When they kicked out, when the Levites, of course, mostly Levites was going off, having all these women from other nations, they wound up kicking out the women and the kids away. Them kids was Israelite kids, but they kicked them away. They got rid of them, so they were scattered. Then the time of the Maccabees, when our people wanted to go off and follow after the Greeks, they were scattered down. Our people was everywhere. Plus, we just moved. That's how we do. You feel what I'm saying? We got scattered when it came to slavery, but our people just, we travel. We everywhere. It is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's how we are. But we was under every nation. But to show that this is talking about Israel, like, that's got Jews from every nation that was coming to keep the feast. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get on 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I'm going to read verse 1. Pardon me. Read 1 down to 4. See, the Church of Corinth. Corinth is actually in Greece. This was written in Greek because everybody spoke Greek. This is actually in Greece. And we see, I'm going to read it. It says, this 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. And it says, moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant. And first of all, he's calling these Greeks brethren. That should show you something right there. He said, I would not that ye be ignorant. So he don't want them not knowing something. I'm going to read on. It says, how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. What sea is that? That's the Red Sea. What cloud is that? It's talking about coming out of Egypt, the Exodus. Read on. It says, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Only Israel was baptized into Moses in that cloud. If you want to bring up the mixed multitude, you can, but how he going to say that? First of all, they wasn't baptized to Moses, but how you going to say that they, Greeks, fathers was coming out of Egypt? How would he even possibly know that? If he's saying all our fathers, only way you could say that is if they're Israel, point blank, period. Because all of Israel came out of Egypt, all of us. So he's saying all our fathers came out of Egypt, fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. All of Israel passed through that Red Sea, all of them. And were baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Hamashiach. So it's talking about us coming out of Egypt. The Church of Corinth he's talking about. Showing right here that we were scattered amongst these people. You know what I'm saying? chapter 12, 1 Corinthians 12, verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried unto these dumb idols. You were Gentiles. Gentile only means nation. But it's saying you were Gentiles, carried unto the dumb idols, even as ye were led. Because our people wanted to follow these things. Follow after the nations. So in the eyes of the Jews that was over there, that was keeping the law, they was Gentiles. That's why he said he was an apostle to the Gentiles. We're going to get more deeper into this as this go on, because Romans get deep. Oh, man. By the time we get to like 9, 10, 11, oh, man, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to open up a whole lot of things, but we setting the premise now. We let you know, like, you know what I mean, let you see, like, how you see him from the beginning to end, basically. Like, who he's talking to first and foremost. And then that, once you know the audience, it clears up a whole lot. A whole lot. So I'm going to read on verse 6, and Romans 1 verse 6, and it says, among whom are ye also the called of Yahushua HaMashiach, saying we are the called. We already know Yahushua only came for the Israel. Matter of fact, this whole Matthew's chapter 15. Matthew chapter 15. I'm going to read verse 24. This is Christ talking. He says, but he answered her not, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the Lord's sheep of the house of Israel. Point blank period. Yahushua came for Israel. That's who's the called. I'm going to read on. Romans chapter 1. I'm gonna read verse 6 again. It says, among whom are ye also the called of Yahushua HaMashiach, to all that be in Rome. So now we see that he's writing to brothers in Rome, right? Beloved of the Most High, the only ones that was ever called beloved of the Most High is Israel. You gotta prove me wrong. Called to be saints. Called to be saints. Now, who can be a saint? Who are the saints? That's a good question, right? A lot of people don't realize that. Let's get Psalms. There's a few actually in Psalms. We're going to do Psalms 50 first. Psalms 50, and we're going to read it verse 5. And it says, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who made a covenant with the Most High by sacrifice? Only Israel. Only Israel made a covenant with the Most High by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for the Most High is judge himself. Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am Yahweh, even thy power. O Israel. Those are his saints. Get on Psalms 148. I still had to say Psalms 148. And we're going to read verse 14. And it says, he also exalteth the horn of his people is Israel, always been, always will be, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, our people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh. Even Israel. Never get around it. Anytime you see saints, that has to do with Israel. Psalms 149, 1 and 2. Praise ye Yahweh. Sing unto the Most High a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. The saints is Israel, baby. Saints is Israel. So let's go back to Romans. What was that? Romans verse 7. It says, to all that be in Rome. So we know he's writing to specific people in Rome. He's saying to all those that he's writing to in Rome. beloved of the Most High. These people are beloved, called to be saints, which is Israel. Grace to you and peace from the Most High, our Father and Lord Hamashiach, Yahushua. Grace unto you, right? First, I thank my power through Yahushua Hamashiach for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. Now, here's one thing we could say. People in a Gentile state of mind, faith, for some reason, their faith is up there. Up there. You hear how these people in the Christian churches, they wicked as hell. Wicked as hell, but they got faith. Our people that was in a Gentile state of mind, they had faith. They came out believing, especially back then, they came out believing in Saturn and Jupiter and Zeus and all that. They was following after all these customs. They had faith in that weird, crazy nonsense. And come to find out today, are the chosen people. You feel what I'm saying? Like, once they started keeping the laws, it was even more so. But they had the faith. So he's letting them know, like, yo, our faith is up there. Y'all got the faith. Y'all just gotta keep y'all laws right. This is what Romans boils down to. He's gonna break all that down. I'm gonna read on. And it says, where was I at? Salakia. Verse 8. First, I thank the Most High, my power, through Yahushua Hamashiach for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. Now, we know this is not talking about the whole entire world. This is talking about the world of Israel. How it's called the structured order. The world of Israel. Isaiah 45:17. Isaiah 45:17 breaks it down pretty good for you. And it says, but Israel shall be saved in the Most High with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. Israel is his own world. So when he's talking here, he's talking about the world of Israel, the government of Israel, the nation of Israel. Right? I'm going to read on verse 9. Romans 1 verse 9. For the Most High is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. And that's something that we need to do as a nation. Not just your brothers in your congregation, but as our people, our nation. We need to pray for each other. We need to pray for each other that's in other schools. Anybody that's trying to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, pray that they stay in that spirit, rehearsing them righteous acts. Those that's not, pray that they see the light and that they come to it. Our heart's desire should be that all Israel be saved. We're supposed to love our brother. We're not supposed to rejoice in our brother sinning. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to take that personal. That's supposed to hurt you. When your brother is going off, you're supposed to feel that pain because you know what's going to come to him. That death, destruction. We don't want that for our people. So when we see our people going off, we're supposed to speak on it. We're supposed to rebuke them and not suffer sin upon them. Leviticus 19:17. That's how you show love. I'm hearing people talking about, oh, yeah, we gotta mind your business and so on and so forth. Like, yo, that's crazy. You hear something, you see something going off, and they say mind your business. Like, come on, that's crazy. This is not, we're not camp. We're not just a camp. You know what I mean? This is nation building right here. We owe everything that our people do. Our people sinning in the world. I take that to heart. I see my people, my brothers dressing like females, walking up and down Broadway Junction and all that, Fulton Street. I take that to heart. That bothers me. That bothers me. I know that them sinning is keeping me here. The reason why we going through this is because of stuff like that. And I don't want to see my people being destroyed. That hurts me. When I see my people hurt, I see old photos of what our people went through and all that, I tear up. We're not supposed to feel nothing for your people. If you feel nothing for your people, like, oh, them just niggas, There's something wrong with you. That's real talk. There's something wrong with you. You're not in this. It's not nation building for you. You don't love your people. Most High told us to love our people. That was a commandment. How do we love our people? Leviticus 19 verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. So you telling commanders, don't hate your brother in your heart. So how do we hate our brother? He's going to explain. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. If you see something going off and you don't say nothing, you hate your brother. That's real talk. You see them going off and you don't say nothing, you hate your brother. We're not supposed to suffer sin upon our brothers. We're supposed to rebuke our neighbor. Rebuke is not light. It's not light. Isaiah 58:1. We all know this because we use this in the street. Isaiah 58:1. Boy. Cry loud. Most High tells us to cry loud. This is what we do in the street. This is why we on the street corners yelling at the top of our lungs or with bullhorns. Most High told us to cry loud. Read, spare not. We're not supposed to spare your feelings. We're not supposed to spare your feelings. Your feelings have nothing to do with it. It's, yo, listen, that's off. Brother, that's off. You got to change that. You got to change that. It's as simple as that. If a brother see me going off and he rebuke me, I'm going to take that. Like, you know what, brother? I didn't see it like that. Because if I did, I wouldn't be doing it. That's straight like that. I'm trying my best to live correct. I want that kingdom. But he's saying, yo, brother, that's off. Like, you got to change that. I'm like, yo, damn, you right. I'm praying. Yo, Lord, forgive me. I'm going to try to change this about me. Most High said, cry loud, spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet and shew my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins. That's how you love your brother. That's how you love your brother. But let me not get off a topic. We need to pray for each other. That was the main thing I was saying. We need to pray for each other. How Paul prayed for his brother. So he said, that was Romans 1 verse 9. For the Most High is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers. We need to do this more. Making requests, if by any means now at length I might have a prosperous journey by the will of the Most High to come to you. So he's looking forward to traveling, which we got to be evangelists. We got to get out there and move, especially, pardon me, brothers in the truth. Like, we got to get out there. We can't stick in one spot. We got to get out there and teach our people. Fellowship with the brothers, meet the other brothers, and teach our people. It's the main thing. For I long to see you, that I may impart unto you some spiritual gifts, to the end ye may be established. Now that's a beautiful thing, because that could even, that goes even to now. Like, there's a lot of people that learn online, learn on Facebook, learn on Instagram, learn by watching YouTube channels, and they still don't got it. They don't have it. Like, they learn certain things and they feel like they're able to teach, like they scholars or something. Paul could have wrote hundreds of letters to these people and they wouldn't have had it all. They won't get full understanding. You got to be there. You got to talk to them. That's why it's good to get into school, get to link up with brothers and build with them. Learn. Brothers that have been in this. You know what I'm saying? Learn. So he's saying, yo, he longed to be with them so he could teach them. He could give them some spiritual gifts, right? To the end, ye may be established. So that they'll be on that. They'll be firm. They'll have that. They'll be ready to go out there and teach that word how it's supposed to be taught. Verse 12. That is, that I may be comforted together with you by mutual faith, both of you and me. Which is a beautiful thing. That's that brotherly love. And I tell you, on the Shabbat, man, on the Shabbat, Any class that we have, and I was at HODC, even like I'm in North Carolina, I'll be linking up with Yahweh's camp. Any class that we have, like just linking up with the brothers, just linking up with the brothers, man. That's a beautiful feeling. Psalms. Let me get this scripture. Psalms 133. There's nothing like being with your brother and y'all both on the same page. Like, y'all sitting there building about these scriptures. That's a beautiful feeling. That's a sanctuary away from all this nonsense in the world. All this nonsense going on. Psalms 133. Start at 1. It says, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is real. That's a beautiful feeling. Beautiful feeling to get together and chill. Have a few drinks, beers, whatever. Sit back, eat, laugh, joke, talk about word, man. That's a beautiful feeling. Ain't nothing like it. I know what Paul was talking about when he said that. I know it's David talking about when he said this. He said, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon a head that ran down upon a beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. That's a beautiful thing right there. Brothers need the fellowship. You can't be the priest Daniel Allah said, individual, like, you feel what I'm saying? We can't be like that. We got to get out there, fellowship with the brothers, man. That's a beautiful, it's nothing more beautiful than that. That's real talk. But I'm gonna read on. Verse 12. It says that that is that I may be comforted together with you by the mutual faith, both of you and me. Now I would not have you ignorant, brethren, that oftentimes our purpose to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also, even as among the Gentiles. Now we already know, brothers that's in the word, they know who the Gentiles are. These Gentiles are Israelites. He is not talking about no natural Gentiles. He's talking about Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. I just showed that to you in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians. Matter of fact, let me get my pocket for real quick. Going a little deeper into some of the history. Get First Maccabees. Get First Maccabees. We're gonna read on chapter 1, start at verse 11. And it says, in those days went there of Israel wicked men in Israel, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. So they want to make covenants with these heathens. So it said this device pleased them well. Then certain of the men were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So they wanted to follow after the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen. Now these heathen that they talking about is the Greeks. The place of exercise in gymnasiums, they was naked. A whole bunch of men in that place, bucket naked, working out. Our people wanted to follow after these damn heathen, and our people is doing that to this day, man. We got to break up out of that. So he said they built a place of exercise according to the custom of the heathen, right? And made themselves uncircumcised. This is very important. I want you to remember this. They made themselves uncircumcised. You cannot make yourself physically uncircumcised. They spiritually did that. But actually, they literally tried to do that too. They used to cover up. They used to put something on there to make it on. But that's neither here nor there. They made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. So they joined to the heathen and forsook the customs. So that's how they uncircumcised themselves. They became Gentiles. Let's jump down to verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So he wanted everybody to be one. And that's why America is the way it is today. England is the way it is today. Why Rome was the way it was back then. That there was a whole bunch of people, different nations, calling themselves one nation. They changed everything. And they still like that. You could have a Chinese, African, Jamaican, white, native, all Mexican, all saying that they're American. Don't make no damn sense. So he said he wants them to be all people, right? Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. And these people want to talk about, you got to follow after the laws of the land. Strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. So this is what our people are doing. They were actually making themselves Gentiles by following after them. Go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and read verse 6. It says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So if you can't call yourself a Jew or an Israelite, what are you going to call yourself? American, British, Roman, Greek. This is what our people was calling themselves. They wasn't able to call themselves Jews. They wasn't able to call themselves Israelites. So they called themselves Greeks and Romans. That's where these Gentiles come into play. They was calling themselves everything else, wherever else they lived. They was calling themselves by that. So these are the Gentiles that Paul was going to. Right? I'm gonna read on. I'm gonna go back to Romans. I don't remember exactly where I was at. Salakia. Matter of fact, I know I'm gonna go back to 13. I think I was there. It says, now I would not have you ignorant, brethren, that oftentimes I purposed to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also, even as among the other Gentiles. I am debtor both to the Greeks. Those are the same ones that you saw in the book of Maccabees. They was calling themselves Greeks. These Romans right here, that's in Rome, in Corinth, in Galatia, because Galatia was a Greek province. They was calling themselves Greeks. So Paul is saying he's a debtor to the Israelites in Greece, or in Greek areas, the ones that call themselves Greeks, and to the barbarians and the barbers and all them, the brothers that was over there in northern parts of Africa, both to the wise and to the unwise. So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome also. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of the Mashiach, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. I'm going to say to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. Again, those Greeks are Israelites, as I proved earlier. Those Greeks are Israelites. These Romans that he's writing to are Israelites. As that was proved in verse 5. You know what I'm saying? Those saints that's called to the beloved of the Most High. Like, you can't see nowhere else where it talks about Gentiles, natural Gentiles like that. The Most High do not care nothing about them. Let's get on Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15. Here we go. Isaiah 40, verse 15. Most High said, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Now, you know, Let's put it like this, man. If you thirsty, right? You thirsty, and you got a big old bucket with 1 drop of water. What is that gonna do for you? Not a damn thing. Moses said, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as a small dust of the balance. Now, I don't know if anybody ever weighed anything, know anything about a scale, but if you got dust on it, it's not going to weigh nothing. It has no weight, no point, no nothing. He said, a small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh of the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing. They are as nothing. And they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Counted to him less than nothing and vanity. The Most High only dealt with Israel from beginning to end. And that never changed. It never changed. These other nations, Jeremiah chapter 3. These other nations, they like, it's crazy, man. They calling out, they trying to get this, but this is not for them, man. And our people need to stop trying to give this to them. The salvation ain't for them. This is ours. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 23. Truly in vain, worthlessness. It don't make no sense. It's not helping them none. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of the mountains. The mountains are the nations. Truly the Most High, our power is truly in the Most High. Our power is the salvation of Israel. Salvation is only for Israel. This word is for Israel. This word, yeah, read that. King James Version, Holy Bible. This word is for Israel. Only Israel. And it goes on deeper into that too. Oh, I can't wait to get deeper into this, to Romans with y'all. It's starting to get dark and all that too now. But I'm gonna read on. I don't think I'm gonna get past chapter 1. This is I'm trying to get deep into every chapter like this. So yeah, I got a lot to look forward to. So tune in, hit that bell, you know what I mean? And when y'all see it pop up, boom, you're gonna get a treat. I'm gonna try to give you a treat every time. All praise to the Most High. Feel what I'm saying? It says, verse 15, Romans 1 verse 15. So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome also. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. For it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to every one that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed, from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Now, what we got to realize, another thing too, Paul constantly quotes the so-called Old Testament, He quotes that constantly. The prophets he quotes, the law he quotes in every book, in every chapter. Can't say every chapter, almost every chapter. In every book, definitely, almost every chapter, because he quotes a lot. He quotes the prophets. So if you don't know, and the way he quotes it, it's like he knows his target audience is Israel. He's talking to Israel, so he's not making no difference in nothing because he's talking straight to them. So if you don't know what he's talking about, you're going to take it like, oh, this is for everybody. When he's talking about everybody of Israel, he's talking about all of Israel, all 12 tribes. Israel was split into 2 kingdoms. The southern kingdom and northern kingdom hated each other. It got to the point where they really hated each other. They was fighting wars, so on and so forth. They didn't look at each other as Israel. And then when it came to even the southern kingdom alone, the Jews was looking at the ones that wasn't keeping the law as Gentiles. They was looking at them as a whole nother nation. They was uncircumcised, unclean, so on and so forth. They wasn't dealing with them. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm gonna read on. In effect, yeah, so I'm gonna read that again. It says, for therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed, from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Where is he quoting? That's Habakkuk 2. And we're going to get that and see, get some understanding on what he's saying. Because people say, oh, the just shall live by faith. They try to use that as you don't got to follow laws, which is nonsense. So we're going to read that. That was 2 and 4, but I'm going to start at, verse 2. And I'm going to start at verse 2. Habakkuk 2, verse 2. And the Most High answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So he said he gonna make this word plain. He gonna make it plain. So anybody, it's not hard. So you really have no excuse. Nobody has excuse. He gonna make it plain. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So he's saying that basically he's going to make sure in the last days the word get out there. And you can see an influx of people knowing who they are, knowing the Israelites right now. You know, the word is growing, it's spreading. So he's saying it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. The just shall live by faith. The soul that is not upright, that's talking about the other nations, mainly Esau. But the just, which is Israel, shall live by faith. Read on. Yea, also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home. This is talking about Esau specifically. Great Britain, Rome, America, Greece. It's talking about that line of Edomites. Because they transgressed by wine with all these different doctrines. He is a proud man, right? Neither keeper at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. He don't keep at home. You got all these homeless people, all these problems over here. But what they doing? They sending all their armies everywhere else. Worrying about what everybody else do. They got their people starving over here. Our people in Flint, Michigan, being poisoned by the water. But they bomb Syria because they supposedly put chemical attacks on their people. This is what they do. Oh, the butcher of Baghdad, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, all these people that they killing, they trying to get them out of their place. Venezuela, Maduro, whatever his name is. But at the same time, look what's going on here. They not keeping home, but they enlarging their desires as hell. They enlarging that. I'm gonna read on. And is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. Cannot satisfied. They want control of everything. They still trying to got their paws in Haiti and all these other places. They trying to take control of everything. Right? And heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. He said they're going to take up a power. They're going to rise up against them. That's going to happen very soon. I'm going to jump down a little bit, skip one. It said to 8, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people that spoiled thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein. Because they raped, robbed, and murdered. When they spoil you, you take everything. So he said they spoiled many nations. But it says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and a beam out of the timber shall answereth, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and established a city by iniquity. Now, this is talking mainly about, like I said, America. It's the Edomite nation, period. Rome, Greece. This is before Rome and Greece. So this was actually, Habakkuk was during the Babylonian, it's either Babylonian or Persian. I gotta look back into it. Matter of fact, I want to say Habakkuk was during Daniel's time when he was in the lion's den. That was Persia, I believe. So he's seeing what was going on with Rome, Greece, Greece, Rome, Great Britain, America, so on and so forth, all this. So he's talking about them. That just shall live by faith, that just is Israel. We are the just. Now I'm going to read on. It's starting to get dark on me. It says, Romans chapter 1, verse 18. For the wrath of the Most High is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Pardon me. Most High is going to send his wrath on these people that knows this truth and hold it in unrighteousness. That's not doing what's correct. Like that's he said, Most High said, I'd rather you be hot or cold. Because those that's lukewarm, he's going to spew out his mouth. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it's saying. He said, those that's lukewarm, those that's playing with this word, it's going to get it the worst. He said he's going to spew them out. Either you be hot, like you all the way in this, or you cold, like you're not in it at all. You in here, you know this word, and you playing with it, it's going to be a problem with you. That's why I'm hearing a lot of stuff going on in Israel, man. Now people need to stop playing with this, man. Take this serious. This is your life. This is your soul. This is your family soul. It's nothing to be played with. This word is real. Right? I'm going to read on. Verse 19. Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them. For the Most High hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even for eternal power and the Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So that goes back to Habakkuk too. When you read Habakkuk starting at 2, where he says, he's gonna make it plain to see. Nobody's gonna have an excuse. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hold this real quick. Go to Proverbs chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 1, verse, we're going to start at 22. It says, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge, right? Turn ye at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refuse. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. The Most High said he's going to pour his spirit out, which is exactly what he's doing. He pouring his spirit out on our people. You feel what I'm saying? Like our people, we out here teaching. We spreading this word. He said he'll pour his spirit out onto us. You feel what I'm saying? But we refuse. Our people's refusing right now. Right? Verse 25. But ye have sought not all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose to fear the Most High. So because our people want to hate knowledge and not choose to fear the Most High, they gonna get that destruction, man. That's why we can't play with this. We can't play with this word at all. We gotta take this very, very seriously. Take it very seriously. I'm gonna read on. He said, like I said, he's gonna laugh when your fear coming. So he said he pour his spirit onto us. We gotta take this reproof and come back to him. You can't play with this word. We're not going to have any excuse. He said he's going to let his word be known through the four corners of the earth. All right? So you're not going to have any excuse. Can't nobody say, oh, I didn't know. They're not going to be able to do that. Nah. Because that, verse 21, Romans chapter 1, verse 21. Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High. Neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Man, that's a lot of people. I'm seeing that right now. Get a little bit of light. Yeah, but that's the. Get a little bit of light in here. It's getting dark out here. Getting dark out here in Raleigh. But yeah, the Most High seeing. He's saying that they came to him. They realized they found this word. They took to it. But they didn't glorify the Most High, and now they glorify themselves. A lot of people is doing that. I'm not gonna call out no names. I see things in a nation that's not moved. It's like people are really glorifying themselves. They putting all these extra titles on themselves, so on and so forth. Like they feel that it's crazy. It's a lot of men worship and so on and so forth. Like judgment is not going forth. Then we can't really judge how we supposed to, but people don't want you to say nothing. You see the wrong that's going on. Like, come on, man. We're not supposed to be like that as a people. We got to come up out of that. We got to break these curses. Feel what I'm saying? Most High said he's not going to give them any excuse. They did not. I'm going to read that again, verse 21. Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts was darkened. And I'm seeing a lot of people, watching videos, how people is talking. I don't think they not glorifying the Most High. They glorifying themselves. They glorifying, they got their congregations all up there behind, like, man, it's a lot of man worship, man. It's just, but that's, the Most High the way I see it right now, the Most High is weeding out the tares. He's sifting the corn, you feel what I'm saying? And it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. But we see it. Verse 22, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Let me see something real quick. We go to Deuteronomy 32:15. It says, but Jeshurun waxed fat. Now, Jeshurun is another name for Israel. It means the upright. The Most High only called us upright. It said Jeshurun waxed fat because the Most High gave us anything and everything we wanted. This is a prophecy before we even got into our land. He said Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked, so we got stubborn, we kicked back. Thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. This is why we went into slavery in the first place. We kicked and we started worshiping other gods. Jump down to 21. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will all move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. This is the whole reason why we went into slavery. Our people knew the Most High. We knew who the Most High was. We knew who our Savior was. We kicked. You get all this money, large following, and kick. That's what people was doing. That's what Israel is doing. They was doing it then. And this is exactly what in this crazy, Ecclesiastes. It's crazy because these scriptures are living scriptures. These scriptures are living scriptures. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. The thing that hath been is what shall be, right? And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. The crazy thing is, Paul, everything Paul was going through, especially Paul, because Paul was apostle to the Gentiles. Paul traveled amongst Israel and the other nations, scattered abroad. You feel what I'm saying? So he's saying, boom, do it like that. All right. Paul is saying that the same thing that he went through is what we are going through as a nation today. The same thing that he's seen that was going on in Rome, Corinth, so on and so forth, is the same things we see here today. Because guess what? America is modern Rome. America is modern Greece. We are seeing the same exact things going on. That's why, and it's like, it's nothing new under the sun. So the same exact thing Paul speak about, we can actually speak about it, how it's going on today. It's simple. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to go on. I got over an hour in on this, and I ain't even finished the first chapter. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to finish this first chapter. The next one is going to be chapter 2, and I'm pretty sure each one is going to be a chapter. So I'm going to read on. Verse 22, again, it says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, which our people was doing. They professing themselves wise. Oh, I know these scriptures. I know this breakdown. So on and so forth. Really, they fools. They're not keeping the simplest laws. They saying certain things are laws that's not laws. You feel what I'm saying? They saying certain things are not law, which are law. It's crazy. Verse 23. And change the glory of the uncorruptible power into the image made like to corruptible man, into birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. And that comes into the idols that they was making. You can put that today. The Christian church, especially the Christian church, that's today. You feel what I'm saying? But we can even use it with the brothers in Israel. Like I said, there's a lot of man worship going on. You feel what I'm saying? Which our people got to come up out of. But they putting that likeness to the corruptible into the incorruptible, the uncorruptible to the corruptible man. Verse 24. Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Now, we're gonna get into the attack the Christian church and attack the LGBT community right now. Not no physical attack. It's not no physical attack. But this to show you that lifestyle, that so-called lifestyle, is not a lifestyle. That's a death style, according to the Most High, according to the scriptures. Because he talks about that in here, in the New Testament. So these Christian churches that have these people that's in their congregations and saying that it's okay, the Pope talking about it's okay, that shows how wicked they are. And they're not men of the Most High. The men of the Most High is not having that. Let's see what Paul says, since Paul is a champion of the Christian church, right? Paul is their champion. It says, I'm going to read 24 again. It says, wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. So this is dishonor. They dishonoring their bodies, right? It's uncleanness. Verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie? Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie? And worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause the Most High gave them up unto vile, disgusting, filthy affections. For even their women did change the natural use unto that which is against nature. What's the natural use of a woman? The natural use of a woman is to give birth, have kids. Natural use. So they changed that to that which is against nature. two women together is against nature. It's point blank, period. Right? Verse 27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, leaving the natural beautiful use of a woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense, that payback of their error, which was me. That's why they have the AIDS rate in that community so disgusting. It's so high. That's their judgment from the Most High, and it's gonna get way worse than that. They haven't seen nothing yet, right? And even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient. Because it's not convenient. That all you're doing is killing yourself. I mean, hold that. We're going to come back to that. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. Abomination, filthy, disgusting act. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. This is what the Most High is saying. Their blood shall surely be on them. Right? Let's go back to Romans. Romans chapter 1. And go to 29. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Now he's going through a long list of disgusting, filthy things that the Most High do not like, that he hates. One of them being disobedient to parents, whisperers, people that to tell stories, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters. You feel what I'm saying? Without understanding, covenant breakers, which that's a serious thing. A lot of Israel don't realize. A lot of people, period, don't realize. Covenant breakers, we gotta be a man of your word. If you say you want to do something, you gotta do it. Don't make a covenant that you can't keep. I had problems with that in the past, and I'm still working on that. Like, I'm trying to get over that. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, I made promises that I wasn't able to keep. I thought I could, but I wasn't able to. So I'm trying to fulfill those promises to this day. You feel what I'm saying? Once I get that out the way, I'm good. For the most part. I mean, for the most part. But, like, you know, that's something serious. That's very serious to the Most High. You can't say you're going to do something and don't do it. Let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. If you say, oh yeah, I got you, or, you know, we could do it like this, and then you don't do it, you're breaking the covenant. That's wicked according to the Most High. All right, I'm gonna read on. That was 31. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of the Most High. Verse 32. Who knowing the judgment of the Most High, and we just read the judgment, Leviticus 20 and 13. It says, they shall surely be put to death. Those who lie, men who lie with men as if he was lying with a woman, shall surely be put to death. Who knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. They that commit such things are worthy of death. Right? Not only do the same, not only them, but have pleasure in them that do them. So if you defend a homosexual, according to the scriptures, you're supposed to be put to death. If you say, that's their life, let them have their fun, let love be love, guess what? According to the scriptures, you should be put to death too. If you a pastor and you have them in their church and not saying, that's wicked and you need to stop that, you shall surely be put to death too. Point blank, period. I bet y'all didn't know that this was in the New Testament. Paul said that. Paul said nothing different than what the Moses and the prophets did say shall surely come. Even still, and this, this was the end of the first chapter. I'm always over an hour in already, so I'm gonna hit the next chapter another time. But like, even that, let's go to 1 Corinthians real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 13. Matter of fact, we start at 12. I'm gonna start at 12 because people swear they understand Paul. They don't know Paul for nothing. They cherry pick verses. Here, let's see what Paul says. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 12. It says, "Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I of Apollos, and I of Cephas." Now remember I said, everything that Paul went through, what was going on with him and his congregation is going on to this day. You got these Christian churches like, they pretty much say they followers of Christ, but all they do is follow Paul. All they do is quote Paul. They're not really following Paul, but they quote Paul, right? You got all these people, I follow this general. I follow this bishop. You feel what I'm saying? I follow this apostle. You feel what I'm saying? I follow this elder. This is people that's like that, man. This is what's going on. This is the same thing. The same thing that's going on today went on back then. There's nothing new under the sun. He says, "Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I of Apollos, and I of Cephas." Cephas is Peter. "And I of Christ." So they had large followings, obviously. Paul had a large following. So he's saying, I'm of Paul. Apollos had a large following. Cephas, Peter had a large following. Yahweh Shah, of course, had a large following. But that don't sound right. They saying, I'm of this, I'm of this. Verse 13. Is Christ divided? This is what Paul is asking. Is Yahweh Shah divided? Is he divided? How can you be a follower of Paul and doing something different than a follower of Peter doing? Or doing something different than the follower of Yahweh Shah doing? Or doing different than what they did, period. How can you be a true follower of them? Is Christ divided? That's a real question right there. Is Christ divided? I'm going to read that again. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 13. Is Hamashiach divided? Is Christ divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Or were you baptized in the name of Paul? Was Paul crucified for you? Did he die for your sins? Were you baptized in the name of Paul? That's the true question right there. That's the true question. I thank the Most High that I baptized none of you but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had baptized in my own name. And that's what people is doing to this day. They talking about they following Paul, and they not really following Paul. Those people that Paul was saying that they followers of him wasn't really followers of him, because they divided the word of the Hamashiach. They divided the word of the scriptures. That's off. Was Paul crucified for you? Was he baptized? Was you baptized in his name? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? Our people need to wake up, man. Our people need to wake up and come out of that. But with that being said, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Power, Abba Yahweh. And I say Shalom.